Welcome on back to the LCS Academy, powered by Verizon. I'm Mazel, joined by Cubby and Magical. Yet again, we've gotten to the halftime of our first series of the day. We have an incredible series starting these to kick off the day. And I think that first game was a wake-up call for a lot of people, potentially. But as we do get into it, want to have a little bit of fun with it. I've got a little bit of a game here for our would-be analysts on the desk. I've got a game called Two Truths and a Lie. So I have chosen 4 players. I have chosen some truths.
Okay.
A lie about each one of these players. And we're going to work through them. I'm not going to tell you who the player is. I'm just going to start naming off the truths and lies. Or I am going to tell you who the player is. I apologize. and you'll have to decide which ones are the truths, which ones are the lies, all right? So I've got 4 players, so we'll try and make quick work of it, all right? I believe in you. Okay, analysts.
There we
would
go.
be any longer. We're going to level that one up. So first player is going to be our boy that you were just talking about before the break, Philip. So decide which one of these 3 statements is a lie. 2 of them will be truths. The man, Philip, FlyQuest Academy's top laner, has spent time on teams with the likes of Kenvi, always playing ahead, and Scooped.
Okay.
He also used to be known for his rise. He also very much use a microwave. Which one of those is the lie out of those 3 statements?
I'm just gonna jump right into it. He is not known for his rise. I believe it was Jace.
Cubby, got any thoughts?
I'm gonna go with the microwave. That seems like a gamer moment.
Ding! We got a winner! It's the microwave.
Oh, is it really?
Let's go.
Microwave. He does not, in fact, at least, okay. You never know with offseason.
He got
Maybe
thrown
he was
out by some teammates. You know?
Yeah, he got
Happens to
thrown
the
under the
best
bus
of
by
us.
some teammates. Maybe he leveled up in the offseason. Maybe he knows how to use a microwave, but at least last time we checked, he did not know how to use a microwave. He was known for his rise top, and he also spent times with teams that can be APA Scooped and a lot of others.
Yeah, I knew that one. The other 2, it was a 50-50. So I was different than Mad Magical.
I'm gonna disagree with the ruling on this because there is a time when Rise Top was just a thing. So like a lot of people
Don't
played
try to
that.
get out of this, Magical.
No,
you
no,
were
no.
wrong.
Remember
you were wrong.
The perma route, like that, like one iteration rise,
Yeah.
like alt, like EW.
Yeah.
That was filthy. Yeah, that was.
Right.
All right.
Philip, I'm fairly certain, is known for his Jace, not Rise.
All right. Well, Mad
I
Magical.
mean, the fact of the
hydrated.
matter is he used to
Reset.
be known for his rise. All right, Magical. It's okay. You can get some
I
wrong. It's
disagree.
okay.
I disagree.
It's okay. You disagree. They're facts.
No.
So next player we're going to have is Cloud9 Academy's mid laner, Copy. Now tell me which one of these 3 statements is a lie. The other 2 will be truths.
Okay.
His first one trick was Nunu mid.
What?
Originally drafted by Dignitas in the 2020 scouting grounds. Or Double If praised him for his Kiana. Which one of those is the lie? Which one do you think? Actively, my analysts.
I know the first one is legit.
Double
Because
Lift
I
praising
did the
people is
interview.
unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, I only know
Wow.
the first one's like legit
Somebody add
because,
Double If.
because he told me that.
I think if Double Lift would have praised him, it would have been for Silas or Zed, what he was known for in solo queue. But
Okay,
Kiana
alright.
does fit that bill.
You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go with the double lift one. I just don't think
Yeah,
double lift.
Double If. All right, so
I'm,
you're
I'm
both
with
a
my
Double If.
co-caster here, yeah.
You're wrong. You're wrong. All right, this was about Cloud9 Academy's Copy, the mid laner. Was that his first one trick was Nunu mid. But it's not necessarily a lie. It's just that played Nunu everywhere. So,
That's
you know.
but
Got
no,
him. All right,
no,
we're going to move on to the next one.
no. We.
I love the expression on Cubby's face just made it all worth it.
No, I am disagreeing with
hell?
that. I have 2 points now. Thank you very much.
You have 2 points.
I disagree
but
with
he
2 in
was-
a row.
Copy was originally drafted by Dignitas with the 2020 scouting grounds, which was, cool. Didn't stay there for long. Just was drafted by there. And Double Up did praise him for his facts straight from Kelsey.
We had 3 truths and no lies in this one.
It was kind of a lie. It was a white lie.
No,
we're gonna move on to the next player, so I don't get caught in the tracks with this, and I don't get blamed. Next player is Tomo from FlyQuest Academy, the bot laner. Gonna be 3 statements. Which one is gonna be my actual analyst? Likes to go rock climbing. He played Heimerdinger so much at Scouting Ground 2018 with Evan Harrell that had to be banned. Is that happening? Global bans?
Well, that's a handshake.
I mean,
and he's also known for his Ezreal. Which one of those statements is the lie?
I know the Heimerdinger one's true.
Yeah, same here.
It was a little specific.
I remember talking to Tomo about that one.
I know that Tomo is a good Ezreal player, but I think that Tomo is more notorious for his Draven play. So I'm going to go with the third one being a lie. And unless, I swear to Christ, if you say that he likes to go bouldering instead of rock climbing, and that's why it's the lie, I'm done. I'm out.
It's too much.
I'm out.
It's too much. All right. Well, you were wrong anyways.
Well, I didn't guess.
All right. Well, fine.
Well, now I'm going to go with number 1.
Well, you know what? Gold, you're right. All right. There's your point. We're gonna give it to
I got 3 points.
1 point. Because it is not rock climbing. He likes to play ping pong.
All right, that's fair.
So it's a very big difference. It's like little boulders, Cubby.
No, they're like little pebbles.
Yeah. Did like to play Heimerdinger in 2019. Did get a global ban, as well as known for the Ezreal. So gotta love some Tomo facts. Last but not least, Cubby, you might be exempt from guessing this one because it might be too easy for you. But we have Sheeden over here from Cloud9 Academy, the jungler, for this new split. And I've got 3 statements. So it's really easy. So I'm not gonna, I'm gonna change these up a little bit.
It's gonna be really hard.
It's not. It's probably not. He's from the Philippines, but an NA resident. He has played on teams with the likes of, say, Surdy, Duo King, and Cake. He's also never, ever held rank 1 or 2 ever in his professional career.
So he's never. I mean, we all know it's the third one then, because he definitely has.
No, I mean, God, why you gotta just get away immediately? Can't talk about it a little bit. Can't give the audience.
Because you robbed me of 2 points.
You found me out. I really appreciate. That's an incredible feat itself, and I know this is kind of. But like he did accomplish that. I think it's an incredible feat to do, and to be able to highlight Sheeden a little bit in the newness of the Academy split for him. I think it's super huge. So Cubby, I don't know if you want to go on a little spiel, a little soapbox, but I'll give it to you.
No, I mean I already got in soapbox like 4 times the first 2 days of the broadcast. So
you got the boxes stacked up now.
Yeah, if you want me to do it again, I've kind of got the spiel down. But no, I really feel like Sheeden can be a promising player. I think that game, made a lot of good decisions to funnel himself, but just wasn't able to turn that into a win. I feel like other parts were they fell too far behind, and I think Sheeden will get used to that balance. But again, I think we saw that when Sheeden is on a power clear champion, can make really good decisions to make sure that Sheeden is really far ahead. And that's, something that I like to see out of junglers, even doing that on a given level. It's good.
Yeah, having a little bit of the brain behind the gameplay as well is always super huge. Well, the next little bit I do want to transition into is something a little bit new, but I want to try it out here in a little bit of a spotlight segment. Because the theme of this split is who's next, who's going to be the next LCS, and who from NA developmental is going to take that next step. And I think it starts into games in regular season. So I wanted to get my analyst's opinion on who's stepping up, who's next, who's picking it up here going into game number 2, especially if you're coming off the back of a loss for Cloud9 Academy. Is there a player that really should be the one to step up, Cubby?
Honestly, I'm going to use this in like a little bit of a different manner. I'm actually going to really credit Spyrax and say that it really feels like Spyrax in this early season has stepped up.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think that Spyrax, like, I know that Spring, I still feel like Spyrax played all right in Spring, but wasn't like a great mid lane or anyone that we consider to be like top 5 in the role. It was a rookie split. Spyrax said yesterday in the interview that he had some wrist issues. He's healthy, so he feels a little bit more confident there. But this is someone that when the offseason in-houses were going on, Spyrax was destroying in some of those in-houses. And like he was one of the mid laners that we were pretty excited for because he was before he even played a game of Academy, he was being recognized by the people around him being like, hey, this guy's pretty good. And I think that I'm starting to see more of Spyrax in this split that I was somewhat expecting to see earlier in the last split. And that makes me really excited for Spyrax.
I have to agree with you, honestly. I think Spyrax is one of these players that though I'll take it even a step further than that. I think it's Spyrax Yuji. I think both of them are next. I think if you have them as a good duo for mid jungle, that is something that a lot of teams can bounce off. That's a solid core to have for a team.
I think so too. Is that who you want to elect as your step up?
Yes.
Do you have anybody Cloud9 focus? You don't have anybody Cloud9 focus? All right. I guess I'm gonna do the Cloud9
Not at the moment. Not at the
spiel then.
moment.
Because I do think that there's a conversation to be had, and we did put a little bit of focus on the the standing members of Cloud9 Academy, the members who are sticking around at least presumably for the whole split, Sheeden and Copy. But I want to dive into Copy a little bit. This guy, lauded as a runner-up for most valuable prospect last split, needs to be the one that carries the flag forward. I feel like. And one that in the fashion that they were trying to be represented last split, and it is a moment for him to step up. Yes, it's still early in the split, but we know this guy to be somebody who can take the reins and win games in his own right through mid lane. Maybe not so much in this meta, but finding a flagstone to stand for Copy and Cloud9 Academy is so important. So for Copy to step up.
Well, I think it's also hard to say who's next for Cloud9 starting just off these first few games because with all the subs. Once they have the full team, then we can actually get a better sense of who we'd actually be like, okay, this is
the moment. That's the thing though. Copy's got to stand up now while the chips are down. That's all I'm getting at.
I'll give Sheeden and Copy some credit from that last game. I think that the jungle was actually pretty strong, but Yuji and Spyrax were just able to get better control of the side lanes. And so really for Sheeden and Copy to actually function in these fights perfectly.
Exactly that. And I think, getting a little bit of spotlight on these players is important, as who is going to step up in the next game is right around the corner because Champion Select is ready to go. So let's have fun with the last game of this first series, shall we? Cubby and Magical.
Oh, yeah. I think we'll have lots of fun with this game. I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited to dive into Champion Select. And we'll see if Cloud9 can bounce back, because they've had some difficult losses so far. Both games, 2 losses they've had of the 3 have been the fastest ones of the split. One, just recently, the last one, taking the title from the one that they had suffered yesterday.
It's been a tough start for C9. And I know that a bit of it is an unfortunate circumstance, but I think that I'm going to hold off, a bunch of, thoughts on, Sheeden Copy until the whole team gets
I
in.
agree.
At this point, I'm just hoping that, with C9 Academy, we see these subs and, Sheeden Copy at least try and step up and make a couple of these games more competitive. Because it feels like, 2 out of the 3 have not been super competitive. So, I think that's my hope at this point. We'll see if C9 is able to pull it off, as looking at the bans, still a really big focus going down on the Sheeden. 2 junglers taken away already, and we'll see if that Kindred ends up being the 3rd ban, or if it's something else like the Wukong.
Well, I would hope that the Kindred would be the 3rd ban, mostly because I feel like on something like Kindred, Sheeden probably could 1v9. I think that he's actually more than capable of doing that on that champion. But the Gwen is a powerful pick, and I think if Gwen's left available, it has to be picked immediately by the side of Cloud9. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So, Gwen's up. The issue with Gwen is that Alora doesn't play it. So, that means it's not really a flex. It would be Sheeden jungle, and instead it's going to be that Senna locked in for potential Senna Tom Kench. Lulu is banned away. Cog Lulu is the answer we've been seeing a lot since Senna TK, and it does open up for some crazier picks. I mean, if Wukong is locked in, maybe that's something that we see Wixie or Trevor be able to pilot with the Senna. It could be even more flexible from the side of C9.
But I don't think FlyQuest are going to, they're not going to let it go. They're just going to grab the same 2 before the the Gwen and Wukong, because if it ain't broke, don't fix.
We'll have to see a different response now from Sheehan, of course, as that FLYA is taken off the table. I'm expecting to see jungle plus Tom Kench here. I think that's just going to be moved for C9, and we'll see if FlyQuest decide to grab the marksman in the map.
So what do you think, like Viego, Tom Kench here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds accurate. I think that'd be a good pick, and in fact, it is. To go exactly for that, the Tom Kench made a lot of sense. Get safety in the bot lane, try to rely on Sheehan to get something that can scale a little bit better, also can not hard carry, but it can carry if he gets some leads later on into the game.
Yeah, so the options here are like Jhin Ezreal, or you just take mid and then throw 2 mid bans out, but I think the FlyQuest is going to lock in that Ezreal, secure some more range, some over the top damage to combine with the Gwen and the Wukong, and we'll be locked in. Expect a couple bans for C9 to be thrown at support. No Karma is going to be allowed to be had by Diamond. And then
what will be the fall? What's the fallback then for Ezreal? Yuumi?
Honestly, I think that Yuumi is really good with Ezreal plus Wukong plus Gwen.
Yeah.
You do get kind of blasted in lane though, so we'll see if FlyQuest want to roll the dice and take that risk. But at the moment, looks like FlyQuest maybe taking away some of the mid laners from Coffee that he could be proactive with this Viego with, and maybe protecting Spyrax the blind. But mind you, this is FlyQuest, so oftentimes they, will. Oftentimes Spyrax does get counterpicked.
Yes.
So that is something where, with the support showing for C9, expect Spyrax to get that R5.
That's the champion Ocean that we'll constantly talk about when we talk about Spyrax. He has so many different champions that he can play reliably and consistently. Just makes sense that they would want to hold on to that counterpick until the very end. Especially now that we see 2 mid lane bans by the side of FlyQuest, it could indicate that maybe they want to grab something a little bit earlier, but I would expect that it is still going to be that support. Hold off for the mid laner until the very end.
And I think, notably, no Urgot ban towards Amorum, so...
No Karma ban either.
Yeah, no Karma. Wow, okay, so taking away 2 of the matchups that C9 feels like could be a more powerful combo, given what FlyQuest has showing on their side, so Karma is given over. I really don't like that. I think Karma Ezreal has a ton of shove, and also now you have the Mantra-empowered team with a Gwen, with a Wukong. To me, that feels very scary for the side of C9 to deal with, as Urgot will be the response again, and Zoe's going to be the blind.
Yeah, and here will be the last pick for Spyrax. Many, many different options for him. Maybe the Syndra into Zoe, try to go for more of a counter straight up.
Just Victor and scale.
Victor could scale. I mean, they already had good scaling. They got good peel, and they even could go back to Azir, since Spyrax has been performing very well on that one. And as you had called out rightfully beforehand, Cubby, this is something that is kind of an El Clasico for Spyrax. He's been playing this for a long time.
It's the first champion that, Spyrax really made a name for himself on. Again, going back to Supernova Dark Matter. Like in 2020 scouting grounds. I mean, that is way back. So, yeah, something that, Spyrax, as we see this growth as a player, we have seen him, utilize that champion Ocean that he has been known for, but still returning to some comfort, playing that into the Zoe. See if he can use some of the lane dominance to contest that early push and make sure that the game plan for C9 isn't able to, shove in, invade the jungle, and set this Wukong behind, because I think that's the way the C9 has to play early.
Well, because I was about to even say that. It looked really reminiscent of the first game for FlyQuest. A lot of their picks, except for the bot lane, are essentially the same. It just, they get a little bit more poke and a little bit better chance to just leave Ezreal on his own so that they can play just as aggressively. And I think that means that Cloud9, right out of the gates, have to utilize some of their power in some of these lanes.
Yeah, C9, I think it's going to be about push and invading, because the difference is that C9, you don't have that Victor fallback plan. C9, they have no fallback plan. They do not scale. So I really want to see if C9 can be aggressive early, try and set up Sheehan to find a lead, and then snowball things from there.
Here we're ready for our second game of this best of 2. Cloud9, you gotta fight back valiantly. You gotta prove to everybody that you're here to compete, even if you have 3 subs on the roster. In FlyQuest, all they have to do is replicate the exact same thing as before.
See if FlyQuest can continue to have that sort of success on the Rift, as well, I guess the draft, as you teased out, man, Magical pretty much replicated this different bot lane matchup, but Senna, TK, into Ezreal Karma, pretty stock standard on these patches, something we expect every team in Academy to be able to play.
That's the moment. Just boring line of scrimmage. You know what saddens me, Cubby?
What happens to you, man, Magical?
What saddened me is that yesterday the CLG and Immortals game had a level 1 fight in bot lane, like all 5 members.
You missed it.
I missed it.
I know. You know, you also missed out
tragic.
on Chad cheesing blue buff, enemy blue buff, both
I
of
know.
those games,
I know.
stealing it.
I know. No, why'd you have to rub salt in the wound?
Well, I got good news for you, man, Magical. Maybe they'll
What's
do that
that?
on Friday when we get to cover them on the main stream.
Yeah, hopefully. I definitely want my shenaniganeries.
Yeah,
I demand them.
shenanigans.
But
I
right
know you
now,
demand them.
yep. At the moment, nothing really too fanciful though. There's everyone going to typical clears. We'll seem that we're gonna have a mirrored start for the side of UG and Sheeden with both of them on their red, so we'll be passing ships in the night.
And also leashless. So we'll see how that affects the lane. Again, we did talk about the fact that, you know, UG, top to bot, even on red side now, a different side of the map, it still does feel like the pathing, supporting the spot lane, making sure that Philip has left his own devices in the top side where Philip, again, Philip, with minimal attention being thrown at his way by the team, I think has performed admirably at the start of this split. It's been really, really good to see.
And here in the bot lane, just kind of changing our attention, there's a lot of poke back and forth. Both sides trying to fight and vie for control. That ends up working a little bit better for the side of Cloud9. Wix and Trevor got the better end of the deal because they were able to get a lot of damage onto Tomo, which I actually really like to see. I want to see them consistently try to play up into the face. The only problem is they lost the level 2 lead. They lost getting to that first, so now they're pushed back underneath their turret.
Also, I think important to note that Wixie on the Senna, this is something that I know last split with 100 Thieves Academy and Busio, Senna was oftentimes banned away from 100 Thieves just because Wixie is a good Senna player, and then it enabled Busio to kind of lean into his mid-lane mechanics to have a rather crazy champion pool. So I kind of like the fact that C9 Academy is leaning back into that and making sure that Wixie and Trevor, again, have that early game power. And that is the big focus of this game for C9. How they can utilize the early shoving lanes they have and try and get a gold lead before they hit these dire mid-game team fights that FlyQuest will be throwing at them. All eyes on Copy and Sheeden to see how they can work with that mid-lane. Priority is.
I like
a better
it.
start this lane, yeah.
Much better. Much better start. And I think this is kind of tying into what I had brought up before, Cubby, where I was a little worried with Cloud9 the previous game, because while Sheeden was doing well, they didn't have the side lanes in order, and you called out that it's actually working out really well for them in the side lanes. Wixie and Trevor, it's fasting Senna. You don't necessarily need to play that aggressively as long as you're not falling behind. And top lane, Alorm got a great trade there into Philip.
It's important to note, though, both junglers did skip Krugs and might be doing the Oppo Krugs on the map, as Sheeden will have the option to maybe go for a dive top. Philip has gotten back up to about 60% HP, but Sheeden does hit level 4 off his camp, and we'll have to see if that is enough for Alorm and Sheeden to make a play as Diamond 9 sidestep.
UG still hanging out right there, right behind him. No idea for Wixie and Trevor. But with how defensively they're playing far back towards their turret, it makes it difficult for UG to actually step forward.
And honestly, I think some respect being paid there by Trevor, you know, not going for that Abyssal Voyage, as now Philip not paying the same respect on this side. No. Says mirrored clear.
Got to get punished. Nice flash away. Gets a little bit of damage on top of Philip. See if they can continue to chase, but they just don't want to risk it.
And that goes from Philip. I really like the early pop. Again, buying some space, but Philip, that is 2 summoner spells being lost, as he will be forced to TP back to that wave, and it's a really tough lane state for him. So, good play by C9. That's a lot of CS and experience being missed out on by Philip that Alorm is just going to catch. So, already a better start this game, and C9 does have a small gold lead thanks to that play from Sheeden and Alorm.
That's why I like to see this. I like to see their side lanes are far more in order. Bot lane didn't overextend. They knew that they were weaker side bot lane, so instead of trying to play aggressively into something that can poke them down low, with the fact they didn't know where UG is, they played defensively. Now they get shoved. Top lane was able to get a good chunk of damage from Alorm, but now Wixie and Trevor are playing more aggressively than I expected them to. With that shield coming in from Karma from Diamond, they got the Ignite on top of Wixie. Wixie, you bit off way more than you could chew, buddy.
Oh, man, the shield bait from Diamond, that was enough. Trevor is tanky enough to walk out. Sheeden is here. Anyone wants to get frisky, he would be able to capitalize off of it, but Wixie taking too much damage from Tomo early on in that trade, I think, really cost the C9's bot lane there.
I was just praising him. I caster cursed them that they were playing defensively. They were doing a great job weak side, and it's like, they're like, okay, now we want to fight. And like you said, they got baited in. They forgot about the Karma shield.
Tomo Diamond. I mean, what a start to the split for them as Copy. That's a big sleep.
I like that. And even with Yuji here, Copy's fine. He's got Flash. He's got Shiden. They can easily continue to fight this back with an Ignite on to Yuji, but Yuji will be back towards his turret with Spyrex right there to defend him.
Do like Shiden, though, just group pushing the wave with Copy. Again, Copy doesn't have TP as Wixie.
Flash from Trevor. This might actually be the reverse. It might be FlyQuest overextending and giving a free kill to Wixie with Tomo. He has that advantage of being able to get out because he's Ezreal. But still, I think it's a good trade there from Cloud9, having a bit of an overextension before and then punishing the overextension of FlyQuest.
Bit of a mistake as at least C9, again, able to contest early. But still, it's overall, Mad Magical, an even game. And
it is.
C9, they do still, much like last game, get heavily outscaled. So, again, I think it's really important that C9 are able to try and hit these spikes as hard as possible as well for a base check.
Oh, she didn't want to fight there, even with the Worm nearby. Was a little worried about not knowing the mystery of the Monkey King, where he's at. But I gotta, yeah, I like the plays coming in from Cloud9, but sometimes it feels like they're just playing too greedily sometimes. They're going so far out, like there, Wixie, not respecting the amount of damage that can be put on him by both Tomo and Diamond.
I think it's curious, as we do approach the Rift Herald, I want to see if Sen and TK are able to nat level 6 and what happens around this Rift Herald. Because, again, I really think it's important that C9 pushes the tempo. The thing that's going to help them the most with that, taking Shelly and trying to take a lot of tower points in their favor. Copy does have push in the mid lane. Lorum, interestingly enough, going for a serrated dirt on Urgot this game.
Me like you.
So those Qs are going to hit Gwen pretty hard. We'll see if he can utilize that to try and get an individual advantage this time around. But that's something where I think it's helped them get a little bit more of a CS lead, but I think that also speaks to how much priority C9 are putting on this lane phase. And rightfully so, because that is where their comp is stronger and what they need to do to give themselves the best chance of winning this game. It's hitting the early game spike hard.
It was also where they felt the weakest in the last game. So they really have fixed up a lot of those mistakes, but now with Cheatin getting flanked by Yuji, stealing away the Raptors as well as Cyclone, Cheatin can ult out of there to survive, but that's a lot burn just to make sure Cheatin doesn't die.
And that's going to force Cheatin to go on the top side of the map, which now opens up the bot side for Yuji. So look at Yuji. Instantly, C9's bot lane takes a step back. Yuji, even though Rift Herald's on the map, the priority for FlyQuest is still stacking up these dragons and playing around this bot lane.
And name a better duo but,
hold on.
with Yuji and Dragon.
Oh, no!
Ooh. No, he's fine.
He didn't flash over.
Hold on. There's still a potential. Trevor, can you get this? Are you going to be greedy or not?
Spyrex got out. Look at Copy as Ignite up. That flash, he went into the Emperor's Divide. If he was able to get over, that would have been a kill. Big mistake from Copy as that's a kill missed out. And honestly, I think C9 still gets the Rift Herald out of it, which is trading up for them compared to the Dragon. But again, a missed opportunity here for C9 as we'll see if Copy is able to play aggressive. Spyrex does have flash. Copy does have to be careful around mid. You can tell he's hugging that top side to make sure that just in case Wukong is around mid lane, Copy's safe. But guess what? Wukong's bot, C9's bot lane, they are in trouble.
They got the dragon. They're looking for the play. Nice Devour, nice Abyss side. Try to escape and give a little bit of distance to Wixie with the heal as well. But that's a lot of damage on top of Trevor. And they've even got the root coming on top of Wixie. He's burning down to the Ignite. Could dive a little bit further, but they don't opt to. They're instead playing it more cautiously. They've already forced them out of lane.
That was really, really well played by C9's sub bot lane. I think the early eat by Trevor to dodge out on that Ezreal damage, get out of there in the fog of war, really, really well done actually. And that really saved Wixie's life. So, couple kills that could have went over to each team. I think an outplay by C9 and a miss in the bot lane, a misplay by Copy in that mid lane, not able to get that Ignite on Spyrex, costing them. And at least 10 minutes in, it is a tiny lead for C9, but we'll see what they can do with Shelly. Because if they are able to get first brick, if they are able to get anything snowballing in their favor, again, the next 5 minutes of the game are where C9's comp is still very, very strong. Yes, Copy can try and save them with poke later, but Gwen, Wukong team fight, we saw how powerful it is in the last game if things go later. And that's something that C9 doesn't have the tools to deal with.
No, and while they have been attempting these plays, they're trying to play aggressively, utilizing that early lead, the advantages that these champions have. FlyQuest have been holding the line pretty well. Outside of a couple of mistakes, you know, just a little bit of an overextension from Tomo and Diamond, They really set up for Yuji to take the dragons, getting that first dragon of the game. Now looking for the play onto Copy here in the mid lane with the Cyclone damage as well. Copy can't escape like Spyrex did before him, and Spyrex teaches him a lesson.
And part of that was that Copy burned Flash to try and get the solo kill, so it's gone now, and Yuji able to sync up with the mid laner and punishes as this mid-jungle duo for FlyQuest Academy off to such a hot start. I know I talked with Diamond before the games today, you know, just kind of asking him like, hey, what kind of advantage do you feel like you guys have, the fact that you guys stuck together as 5? And, you know, Diamond said, we are starting without having to learn the fundamentals. We can start to learn new concepts.
That's true.
Start to push forward because it's the same team, and this is a team that was one game away from making top 4 in PG last split after an 8th place regular season. They already have shown that improvement, and they're starting at such a higher floor this split, so I'm really excited to see where they can go.
Same here, especially because this is a good test for them with players that are newer to the organization in Sheeden and also all the subs that Cloud9 have, really for them to prove how well they are as a unit, how they've grown together. And make the statement for why Cloud9, for why FlyQuest kept this roster together, why they decided not to change anything else, while everyone besides Team Liquid decided to change nearly all their roster.
Yeah, I mean, again, what Diamond said is that with this team, you know, he doesn't have to teach everyone. Like, people aren't passengers now. Like, people know what their jobs are in the game, and that's a big difference. And his goal, he said, you know, my goal is Academy title. That's what I want.
Yeah.
We'll see what FlyQuest can do with this trainer.
He can be a leader this time around.
He was a leader last time around, but
well,
he doesn't have to work as hard. Yeah.
Well, he was a leader and a teacher. Though right now,
Alorum,
woo, grinds up Philip.
It's looking like an Eclipse rush here for Alorum, and oh boy.
Oh, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Even if you're going to use the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, they can chase you down if they really want to. There's a flash up for Yuji. Is he really out? He's got to get to the blast cone, but he couldn't get there in time. Like I talked about, that flash available for Yuji made sure they could shut him down.
Well done, Sheeden, though. We'll see if he can punish. No flash, no off for Yuji.
No, but Yuji does have the power of friendship. He's got Spyrex right there in the neighborhood, so he can just go right back towards his teammate.
Trevor.
Okay, what's going on?
Diamond Flash.
No, I'm saying, what's going on? Why do we have constant fights going on, Cubby? Just all across the rift, everyone trying to see what they can get on the other. Trevor nearly went down. Tomo's still low. Wixie doesn't have mana to consistently follow it up.
I mean, all the constant fighting, I think the big difference this game is this Urgot-Gwen matchup. Alorum going for this Eclipse Rush build has really been giving Philip a hard time. Sheeden now making a visit up here. That is going to be Shelly dropped, and a lot of plates going over the pocket of this Urgot. Again, a champion that Alorum has been known for historically, has put up performances on. It's most played this split, and this year, with the games that he's put in between Wildcard Gaming and Team Fish Taco in the spring and summer, respectively. So, good to see Urgot, or Alorum's Urgot showing up on the Academy stage. Much needed for C9. It's given them a little bit of a leg to stand on in this game.
Well, this almost goes into the mentality of making sure that you have your subs on their comfort champions, that they are playing things that they're very well versed in. And we get to take a look at this replay. And first, it started off with that topic we were talking about with Alorum, but I just want to see how it goes from the top to mid to bot.
I love Yuji and Spyrex here. I mean, it seems oh boy, Alorum.
Okay, there we go. Copy saying, you know what, you've taught me the lessons, I'm just going to call up Alorum. I'm going to bully you now, Spyrex.
See if Sheeden has enough moves to get out. He's able to sneak on out, but the bot lane of C9 Academy did base. So despite that kill going
Copy's
over
low.
Mid,
Though, Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Exactly. Oh, gotta be careful though. Look at where Tomo is though. They can pull the trigger first. Sleepy Trouble Bubble going wide. Sheeden on top of the dragon, but now he's got the copy and he's got Wixie right behind him. They've got the advantage. They can look for that fight. They've got, a little bit of a reset onto the dragon. Could be devastating for the team with the True Shot Barrage doing a bit of damage to Sheeden. They've even called down Alorum. That's how long this fight's taken. It does go over to FlyQuest, but they're all ready to brawl.
Again, though, that's big. The fact that FlyQuest pick up the second dragon. We talk so much about the first 15 minutes of the game. What can C9 get done? As we are going to return to live, is Copy getting some revenge on this Spyrex. Says, you know what? You brought your jungler twice when I had Flash down to take me out twice, but I can bring my top laner into this time around. You can't get me. We're going to yoink you in, grind you up, as that Azir not going to be able to get anything else done. Copy able to answer back a little bit. But I do want to return to that Dragon. 15 minutes into the game, we talked so much about how C9's early game, they needed to do something big. It's an even game. FlyQuest is ahead in Dragon. This is not enough. FlyQuest, for the rest of the game, have the stronger composition. And I really think that because UG and Spyrax were able to punish the Flash being down for Coffee twice, that kind of killed the momentum for C9 on the map.
And that's where I was even going to bring up the conversation to that too, Cubby. Looking at now 16 minutes into the game, Alarm, he's pretty big, but it's going to be difficult, especially once Philip builds up that Rift Maker to actually fully 1v1 him as an Urgot.
I mean, Alorum is the saving grace of this game, and I think all eyes have to be on Alorum. I was setting up, how can Coffee get mid-push and support Sheedon? I think that's going to be the game plan for C9 Academy this split, and where they're going to find success.
They have no idea.
Looking at the league, but early on, UG and Spyrax using that synergy they've already built up, getting the best of them, punishing that Flash being down as Coffee failed that one all-in, and that was big. And FlyQuest, even game, 2 Dragons, a Rift Herald in their pockets, they have to love where the game state is at the moment.
So you can't count them out just yet. Not Cloud9. They still have some advantages. They still have some ways to play back into this game, even if it is going to be risky. And honestly, I think more on how they can pick off members, how they can find people out of position of FlyQuest. But they're getting some gold back for themselves. They lost the Rift Herald, but still were able to gain that tier 1 top lane. Now Alorum, he's threatened by Philip and UG. But this is also going to be Urgot. He's got a lot of damage if he can lay it down. They got themselves with the damage back in with the needlework, trying to chase him down. And Alorum shut down. That's going to be a big loss for Cloud9.
We'll see what Sheedon can get back as he is on the other side of the map. Trevor.
Nice knockup. Nice look for Diamond. He's got shields, though. He survived for so damn long, even if he does fall at the end. They got Spyrax to get the flash out of Sheedon to try to be able to dodge away from that. He buffered it out just perfectly. They don't lose a member just yet. They're still fighting back. Cloud9 can rinse and repeat.
Copy.
They can look for the dive again.
Look at Coffee. This positioning for the Zoe is so good. They're scouting out behind. They know no one else is here. C9, again, I think they have to push really hard at this point of the game. So I want to see if they end up going for this play.
They have to, because on the other side, Shelly's going to get a secondary charge. Coffee getting the damage onto Spyrax with an Ignite ticking. He's got a shield for himself, but nearly took him down with the ult. Still looking for that play. Still looking for the portal jump to pick up a kill, but they couldn't get near him. Instead, they have lost 2 turrets for merely the 1 they'll gain in bot lane.
And the fact that FlyQuest escape means that they went out huge on the cross-map play. Because no one was going to defend for that Rift Herald against C9. I feel like they know their champs are still strong now. They have to push, but not being able to find those kills, that's critical as now FlyQuest, they will be able to reset out on the map, find this Dragon, take a second look. Copy was connecting all of these battle stars. I think Copy, I think he should have saved that flash instead of using it with the portal jump. Should have just flashed over so he's over the wall preemptively. I know that would have been risky, but again, they're so low that if he is able to stay over that wall, maybe he's able to pick up other summoners and use them, get the Zoe pass in the W. Maybe he's just able to connect the Trouble Bubble right there. I think going back over the wall really hurt him on that play and is why C9 wasn't able to find anything.
However, I think that there's a more troubling aspect of that fight. How long it took them to actually get a lot of that damage to stick to FlyQuest. Diamond has survived for so damn long, and all the while, that was a 3v5, keep in mind. 3v4, because Alarm was dead. But that entire time, Philip and Yuji were pushing top. They got not just the secondary turret, but they got the second turret there too.
And now FlyQuest grouped up, trying to fight this Dragon, and this whole point for them. As
that was a flash cyclone on top of them all, and Spyrax dragged back in Trevor and Wixie, who has to flash out of there to try to survive. They got a killing spree for Yuji, making a double kill for Yuji as he picked up the shutdown on the Wixie.
And FlyQuest, they didn't see Copy, they didn't see Sheedon mid, they just fully send it as Yuji finds a great engage on the 3. They pick up 2, the 2-for-1 special for Spyrax with that scoop of the Tom Kench setup back in. And that's another free Dragon going over to FlyQuest.
That'll be their 3rd Dragon of the game, still not relenting a single one in this series. FlyQuest, they pretty much are living up to exactly that you said, Cubby. The fact that it is now past the 15-minute mark. They're at 20 minutes into the game. Their items are getting completed. It doesn't seem likely that Cloud9 could really mount a defense against them.
This is where the game gets really hard. As UG, Divine Sunder, Wukong, once you get that item and you're past level 9, you're really strong. Again, Ezreal, we're seeing a lot of first strike Ezreal just get ahead of the curve in items, and it's a Trinity forcing the ball. Miramana already is going to replay. And look at where Copy and Cheating are on the map. Were spotted clearing out that wave in the bot lane. Once they saw Copy clear out that wave, FlyQuest just fully sense it. I love that call. That's a lot of conviction out of them, and it was the right move, and it ends up paying off.
It was a great call. And this is something we've seen out of FlyQuest. Just in the few games we've already seen of them in the summer, they have great communication.
So it's something that we have seen out of FlyQuest, but traditionally, it's Diamond. Diamond was the person that was playing in-game. Last split, it was all about the Thresh, Leona, Nautilus, Blitzcrank. Those were Diamond's 4 most played champions. Of course, it is a different meta, and of course, Diamond did play 16 unique champions, so FlyQuest were flexible with their support, but the fact, what Diamond was talking about, he's no longer working with passengers. These players can take things into their own hands with what they've learned. That's a great example of Yuji seeing that play, seeing Copy Bot saying, oh, this is free. Instantly goes and makes a positive play for FlyQuest. Really good sign for FlyQuest Academy.
And if they continue like this on the Cloud9, it's about to be another fast series for them. They've already got Trevor completely caught out, with the remaining members trying their best for Cloud9 to get something else on the map like Alorum in the bot lane, but that might just be a trade for the Baron.
I mean, Alorum does have TP, so we'll see how aggressive FlyQuest plays around this Baron. They're going to start it, but we'll see if they end up burning it or trying to turn for the fight. Copy does a lot of poke around this Baron, so they have to be careful with Zoe.
They also have to worry that Spyrex might just take the Baron before they can react, because that's how fast Nazir can melt down this Baron. With Copy looking for that poke onto Tomo in the backline, they even got the Senna ult to connect onto him. It won't be them continuing, though. It will be the reset on Baron. C9, get the stop on that Baron. That is going to be something that at least they can be proud of.
C9 should just run mid. I don't know what they're doing sticking around here, as I guess they do actually stunt one of the bases. It could be positive for them now, as both the solo laners and FlyQuest are not able to base with the rest of the team. So
C9 no, he tried to get out of there too, but look at that damage from Philip to chase down Alorum. But the Sleepy Trouble Bubble was able to take down Philip, so maybe it was, like you said, the other way around. It was Sheedan baiting him in.
That was a really good play from Alorum. The fact that he just threw the ult into the fog, was able to find one. I wanted C9 to go sprint and take that mid-outer for free, because that should be the punish after you start Baron and have to pull off. But I think the split and trying to get a little bit of gold back in the pockets of C9 in terms of taking down members, I thought was fine there. Good opportunity. The fact they only got one, honestly, kind of unlucky for C9, as they were not able to clean up Spyrax, but do pick up Philip in the back.
With Philip dying, delays that Baron potential that FlyQuest could have baited around, the dance that they could commit to. Instead, they just look to get a little bit more vision control on that top half of the map, but not much. They still are struggling a bit until Philip is up.
I just love Tomo throwing out these ults and benefiting from first strike. That's like 36 gold ult right there for just connecting on one. Not bad. That is the right Wukong. UG. Gonna take a chunk. Really important that C9 are able to control this real estate now. And I credit to C9. I did talk a lot about how their comp gets outscaled. That's still the case, but I think Copy is playing the Zoe rather well to get C9 some form of map control. Now Spyrax.
Well, this is going to what we were talking about earlier, Cubby. Looking for picks instead. They found a couple of these picks that's kept them in the game, and if they can continue to do so...
Oh, that's a big TP,
it might be here. I think it's double TP. Yeah, it's double TP. Never mind. Gotta eat my words. Caster Curse, even if they're going to pull back and get one kill back onto Tomo, they've now got to fight in the zone of Philip, and Alorum will fall to him. With Trevor on the other side, just getting 1v1 by Yuji. Sleepy Trouble Bubble connects onto one, but no one's going to want to chase that up. Instead, they have to sacrifice a catfish to make sure they can all get out.
And C9 split. The three members are past the halfway point mid, trying to contest the wave when both Copy and Sheedan are showing bot. And again, the conviction from FlyQuest, so good. Instantly go. Do not give C9 any chance to group up as 5 and take that fight. As Spyrax escapes in the bot lane, opens up FlyQuest to turn things in the mid lane. And all that good work that C9 put in to try and get control over the real estate in front of the dragon, it's gone. They are fighting an uphill battle as Ocean Soul spawns in 25 seconds for FlyQuest. C9 have no business even being in their own jungle.
And no, nor do they even have control of said jungle. The red buff stolen away while Sheedan had to just give it up. He tried valiantly to be able to take it away, and now UJ body blocking for Diamond, so there isn't that full burst damage to actually force them out of any pursuing fight.
Oh, Sheedan.
Buffers the ult at least. He was able to get out, but this is kind of what I was talking about. It's just FlyQuest making sure that they're not chunked out too low so they can go for the soul.
It's so big, though, the fact that Sheedan had ult and is below half health. That's a bit of a mistake. Now it's just getting burned.
Oh, let's see if Sheehan can steal it away. He can't. It was already sniped secured by Yuji with the fight on the other side. And they're split up. Cloud9 getting chopped apart and snipped apart by Philip, who can continue to hunt them down, chase them down. Wixie falls. It's a double kill for Philip, while Coffee and Alorum, the solo members on Cloud9 Academy, attempting to escape with their lives, but with how much damage comes through from FlyQuest, they can't.
And FlyQuest, they had to survive the early game. They went even, they traded across the map, and now they hit this mid game where their comp has outscaled. Their champions are stronger, and FlyQuest is taking advantage of the mistakes of C9 as well. Again, approaching that Dragon split, approaching it late because they were contesting a mid wave earlier that got punished. It's too easy for the side of FlyQuest.
They can call a fight so quickly. They just a snap decision, be like, all right, we're doing this, and they're all there. And this, I think, plays in not just to the champions, but into the team that we've been building up this entire time. A team that stayed together and they know how one another works.
I think that's been really the story of this game. Like, the reads from Yuji have been fantastic. And again, this is something that Yuji early of last split really struggled with. We never had any questions about Yuji's mechanics, Yuji's hands. We always knew that Yuji was going to be very strong given the solo queue achievements that he had on in a high ping environment, mind you.
Right.
Rank 5 in A. Like, compare that with, you know, Cheatin's 1-2. It's one of the reasons we're so excited about Cheatin. Like, he just has to figure out how to play comp, but at the moment, Yuji has that split under his belt, has the 4 teammates around him that he has played that split with, too. And the conviction that Yuji is making these plays with, how aggressive FlyQuest are once they see any member caught out from C9. Really good to see, and signs that, you know, yes, they are crushing a team that has subs, but also a sign that if they do this against any other team that we have in the league, it's going to end up being good things for FlyQuest.
And the fact of the matter is that they're doing this against a sub-team, sure, but they're very seldomly making mistakes. They're very clean in their gameplay. While there's been some points that Cloud9 have been able to punish them, for the most part, it's been very clean gameplay, whether against Cloud9 today or 100 Thieves yesterday. This team has got to be one that people are keeping in their conversations for potentially being one of our top 5 teams, especially if they can fight like this with no regard for Cloud9, because Cloud9 has nothing left. There's nothing for them to gain. There's nothing for them to do because they can get run down into their fountain by FlyQuest.
FlyQuest, this really, again, their identity, the mid-game scaling comp, this is where they found the most success last split. They've been switching things up, trying some new things this split, but a 4-0 start for them. They started that split 0-6. What a turnaround for FlyQuest as this summer split, it's been all of them.
And here they are now taking down those Nexus turrets. They could pad the KDAs a little bit more, get the stats looking better, but they don't need to because that's how well they've done in this series. 2-0 for FlyQuest.
Can't sing the praises of FlyQuest Academy enough. Really looking forward to talking with them too. Like, we heard so much from Spyrax yesterday about, you know, the growth that he's had, the confidence that he has coming into this split. And this team just looks like they are firing on all cylinders early, taking advantage of the fact there are only 1 or 2 teams in the league that is returning all 5 players, taking advantage of the fact that, you know, UG, Spyrax, no longer rookies. They're sophomores. They have the fundamentals. They have some of that foundation laid down when it comes to how you play League of Legends as a team of 5. And FlyQuest, they're moving on to bigger and better things. They keep on taking down opponents and are looking very strong to the start of this Academy split.
That's why I said you got to kind of now wonder if we're going to have a conversation later down that FlyQuest, one of the top teams, if they can keep up this kind of momentum and this mentality.
I mean, I'm really curious to see. I don't want to call anyone a top team after, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's recency bias, and it's also. I mean, but they did beat 100 Thieves yesterday pretty convincingly as well. So I got to say, like, FlyQuest, if they can continue this kind of performance, even if they end up losing some later down the road, if they have a very good consistency about them, I'm putting them pretty high on my list.
I will say, FlyQuest, they do kick off our Academy stream tomorrow going up against TSM. So TSM, of course, they play next against Dig. That's what we're calling, you know, the match to watch of the day. If TSM end up making a statement and 2-0ing Dignitas, that could be really exciting. 2 4-0 teams with a lot of developmental pieces early in the season could be the true test for FlyQuest.
But obviously then the conversation goes to the TSM, who beat Cloud9 convincingly yesterday. We see FlyQuest doing the same today. Much merit do we put into those games? Obviously, we'll find out later because TSM are going to face off against Dignitas, which is a strong team. Keeping the conversation on here, on to this series. I think there are still some things that Cloud9 do well. Like that second game, the early game looked a lot better out of them. Like just looking across the board, there was a couple mistakes by them. They were able to punish those of FlyQuest. I think it just happened to be that, you know, the champion selection wasn't really the best for them.
I would like to see a world, honestly, in that game where Copy ends up netting that solo kill against Spyrax, and they're able to like get invades off, get Sheet in the head. I think that game would have played a lot better for C9A in the early game because then you would have had 2 winning lanes instead of just the one in Alorum. So, yeah, I mean, they definitely drafted for more early game, but still didn't get enough done. And we saw what happened to that when FlyQuest was able to scale, able to find that mid-game team fight, and able to punish later.
And with that, they take that 2-0 victory. 4-0 to start off the season. Obviously, one more day tomorrow that they got to play. But for now, we're going to talk. When we come back, we'll have a lovely interview with our lovely host, Mazel. So make sure you stay tuned.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
Welcome back, and we're here with the Verizon post stream, and I'm joined by none other than the FlyQuest Academy jungler for the summer split. I've got Yuji with me. Yuji, my man, it is feeling confident. There is confidence radiating off of these games that FlyQuest has played so far. So, what's up with that? From an 0-6 start in split, now a 4-0 start in. Was there just a monumental change, or is it just that cohesion of keeping the same roster over the?
I think it's both of them, especially because we have the same roster and we as a team a lot in the regular season and in the off season. I think it's just better to stay as a five together.
I like it's important to keep that team synergy high. Speaking of energy, did you get to do anything with the team in the off season, or did you do anything yourself that was fun in the?
Yeah, and spent my days here playing on hopping. We came back and we went to, I guess, eat. We went to eat, so
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your time in Mongolia. How was it back? What did you do? Anything fun, family, all that kind of stuff?
yeah, I saw my family because I saw
Good.
my family. It felt pretty good because I think I haven't seen them for a year, so it's
Oh, wow.
refreshing. It was good.
Little to get back into the split. I love it. I'm glad your family and friends. That's awesome. I guess I ask you a little bit more coming into summer. Was there anything that you guys specifically worked on coming into the new split? You wanted for summer? Was there any big of you guys?
Not sure there was any. And
Mhm.
Philip and Tama went to Korea to boot camp, so I guess they play solo queue. I think the rest of us were like, I think it was the same. I think.
Hmm. Now, I do want to ask you a little bit, since we were talking about coming into summer. What about the competition coming into summer? You just got to face up against Sheeden, up new jungler into the scene. You having had a split under your academy. What is your purview of the competition in academy?
I think jungle competition will be easier, especially because Melis and Kenny is gone. So I think maybe it's like too early to say, but the other junglers doesn't feel like good to me. So I think we'll see.
Okay. So you got the strength of the competition going low. What about the meta? How do you feel about the meta? Do you have any strong feelings about the durability meta?
I think assassin champs are pretty bad in the jungle right now because you can't really kill anyone. So I'm probably not gonna play Kiana and stuff. Maybe I think also Wukong is like pretty OP too in the jungle.
We could see that. It works out pretty well. You yourself, UG, come to the split. What are you focused on? What is your personal goal by the end of the split?
Probably becoming LCS ready by the end of the slate and work on my communication. I think that's my main goal.
I like it. Some good goals to have to start off the split at least. Do you have anybody to give a shout out to? Anybody you want to talk about here? Anybody you want to call out before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to my family back home. They're all watching my games, so
I love it. I gotta give the shout out, especially with the recency of being able to see everybody. But thank you so much, Yuji, to chat with you, and we'll see more of you this split.
okay. Yep.
All right.